Campers, it's me, Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees. From Friday the 13th, I'm here with AJ, and he's got the juiciest slice ready for you. It's dripping with blood. Jason never dies.
What makes a horror film kill memorable, terrific, even in some way profound or poignant? Let's explore. Thanks for checking this out. If anything about it trips your fancy, please like, subscribe, and share.
Yes, yes.
Without further ado, an anonymous technician just trying to get through another night shift receives the kind of alert that signals a headache in need of a quick remedy he can accomplish with some nerve grit and, of course, his trusty toolbox.
Terrific.
The guy has no idea why things have gone kerflooey, nor that a young man named Andy and his foster sister Kyle are to blame due to actively evading Chucky the Killer Doll. When they manage to momentarily suspend the minuscule but brutal killer, really only slowing him down because he's the devastatingly determined type. They were forced to make their way through various machinery, a hodgepodge which seemed for reasons unknown, designed to confuse and discombobulate.
Give me your hand! Don't be afraid, come on!
And wound up at the eye implanter section of the assembly line. The reason they navigated this particularly dangerous route amounted to an exit door that lay beyond. Of course, it proved locked, so they weren't able to escape the maze-like building. What matters is that the dolls were disrupted, creating the issue drawing the technician onto the floor. Unaware and infuriated Killer Doll is on a mission of revenge. Chucky has already failed in his initial objective for pursuing the boy, and didn't get his soul into Andy in a timely manner. The rules of voodoo are apparently pretty strict, so at this point he's purely out for payback. If he had better control of his bubbling rage, he could just go. But that's not Chucky. All of this will bring him and the oblivious technician together in the worst way possible. Well, if Rule 34 doesn't apply. A credit to the profession, the knowledgeable worker gets right to clearing out the obstruction of unfinished dolls, so he can get to the bottom of the problem. Quickly diagnosing the dilemma, since how bad can it really be when the doll clog was the main issue? It's nothing he can't troubleshoot on the spot. The next part seems a little hinky, like a workplace accident in the making, but what has to be done has to be done. Sometimes there's risk involved in finishing a job. And climbing into this huge eye implanter feels risky, because you'd be pretty powerless before the might of the machine, were it inadvertently engaged, since it would just keep stamping away. But he knows his stuff, and certainly won't wind up a victim of the very contraption he's repairing. Seemingly out of nowhere, imminent danger not only lingers and lurks. It approaches with the kind of steady pace that suggests a plan in action. and the technician has no sense whatsoever that he's being closed in on as he finishes up the repairs. A boffo job. He's dealt with the problem fast enough, his whole night isn't shot. No, wait. So pleased with himself, he wears quite the dopey smile. Thoughts of kicking his feet up and waiting out the night dance through his head. One instant, life is good. The next, it's over. A master of his art. Never doubt that Chucky will bring his signature flair, finesse, and flourish to even a kill that's ancillary to whatever else he has going on. This one is extraordinary because it combines unrelenting machinery, accelerated suspense, and a striking visual, nudge nudge wink wink, to leave the audience gobsmacked and wowed, and it took all of 2 minutes to set up and execute. The way it happens so quickly, this one is fun and zany and almost cartoony for the audience, but for the recipient, the height of horror. One of the scariest things that could happen to a person in a factory, or anywhere, getting their eyes instantly pressed into their brain. Working in such a place likely already lent to considerations about wonky workplace accidents, especially when presented with a Rube Goldbergian factory, replete with seemingly built-in perils around every corner. So the technician had to feel some ironic twist in his stomach in that brief moment before it was all over. The doll's eyes pressed into a human face also created an uncanny valley-like sense. A normal face instantly made exaggerated and bizarre, grotesquely wall-eyed, as if his eyes were suddenly so opened they popped right out, which is appropriate for one very important reason: what he saw in the instant before Chucky chucked him off the mortal plane. I love the notion of this scenario. You work for the good guy doll factory, and you've heard these crazy stories about a killer doll, but those are all just stories, obviously, because no one would believe in supernatural events without seeing proof firsthand, well, outside of religion. So to suddenly be under attack by the very good guy doll that is entrenched in myth and urban legend would be particularly upsetting and mind-blowing, where skepticism meets belief can be a killer intersection. Luckily for the technician, he only had mere seconds to contemplate the craziness. Unfortunately, Chucky was willing to silence him permanently to ensure he didn't cause him any problems. The guy was just in the way, somebody who was in the wrong place at the wrong time and paid for it with his life. This nameless technician represents the unknown everyman that exists to hold up the underpinnings of society, the guys who clock in 5-6 days a week and keep the world turning on its axis at all hours. In this particular case, he covered all bases by being the sort who worked with his hands and his mind, as comfortable behind a computer as crawling around in machines. Working nights, just hoping to get through another shift without undue complications, the technician was an easy guy to commiserate with for anybody who cleans up messes to keep the show operating. Day in, day out, always dealing with good guy doll log jams adds up to a lot of headaches. Not to mention, when you work overnights, you already live in a kind of nether realm, oriented oppositely to a big chunk of the population, the in-between limbo when the majority sleep. It leads to a bit of a different kind of lifestyle when everyone else's early morning is your late night. Evidently accustomed to his isolating life, it was apparent he was good at his job, and took pride in doing it well. The dopey smile said everything. Nothing he did counts as a demerit against him. Taken by surprise at an inopportune time, he never had a chance. Honestly, of all the things that could have happened to him in that automated nightmare, attacked by a sentient good guy doll prowling the factory in a murderous rage was maybe the least likely. Hopefully, the job came with high pay and good death benefits.
Oh, Lord.
Sacrificed on the altar of corporate profit, this is of course all social commentary about the marketing of toys to children, and in this case, its overwhelming success. Why does this doll factory need to be pumping out dolls 24/7? It's obvious that it's to meet a massive demand. New good guy dolls were coming off the assembly line at an impressive rate. Because empty shelves won't do when every moment there's another little snot-nosed brat able to extort their parents into anteing up hard-earned dollars. But then, the era this was from, the justification for the never-ending production, could literally be that it was to avoid customer riots and violence. Look at what happened when Cabbage Patch dolls attained popularity and demand couldn't be met. More than a few fistfights broke out. What's also interesting is that due to automation, it doesn't really benefit too many working class people, beyond eventually driving down the price of the dolls their kids want, once the market has been oversaturated. There's no doubt every means was taken to maximize profits. And the technician who made up the skeleton crew keeping the show operating with minimal support was just another expendable cog or gear. Whether it was Chucky, or just that he got caught up in a machine, no help was coming. Well, I've about reached the end of the rope, so I won't leave you dangling. Thanks for humoring my ramblings. Please share any refutations, opinions, accusations, japes, or other ideas in the comments below. And please join me for whatever I'm up to next time. Bye now.
Bye, creepy man! Keep it creepy!
He's a weird guy.
Goodbye.